guys, I'm Elizabeth and welcome to my booktube channel. Now I'm gonna make this quick because it's the end of finals week and I gotta go pack so I can go home. But before I do, I thought I'd film one more video here in my dorm and give you guys a few of the things that I learned during my first semester in college. Tip number 1, use Rate My Professor. Oh my goodness, this is one of the biggest and best tips I have for you, and you hear it all the time, but look up every single one of your potential professors and choose the best one. Even if a class is really difficult, even if it's like statistics or economics, it's going to be incredible and fun and even easy if you have the right professor and they're good at explaining and they're just there for you when you need them to be. Ultimately, the best professors offer good quality of material, which means it's kind of hard to some extent, and they also make time to help teach you that material. Like if a professor says that their study hours are by appointment only, run. Because that probably means they just want you to email them about the problem and they're not really going to talk to you about it and take the time to work it out. And go to your professor if you need homework help, if you're freaking out about the class, like whatever. They're there for you and to help you completely understand that subject. So check out Rate My Professor because a professor will make or break the class for you. Secondly, write notes in class. Handwritten notes because you remember those better. I had one class and pretty much all we're tested on are our discussions in class. And there's no way to really do well unless you write those things down. In addition, if it's a hard class, write notes, but then rewrite those notes after the class. I rewrote my notes for statistics, and I'll also rewrite notes sometimes in preparation for a test or an exam. Tip number 3 is things you need to buy. So a Swiffer is really nice because most of this dorm is carpeted, but for the bathrooms, those have tile, and if you don't want to have a whole mop and like fill up the bucket and stuff, then a Swiffer is amazing. Next, blackout curtains. These aren't completely blackout curtains because you could see the light shining through, but they block out the vast majority of the light. And right now I have them closed and I have the camera in a new area because the sun is really bright right now. Lately there have been clouds out and they kind of act like natural diffusers, but not today. So blackout curtains will really help your quality of sleep. And if you happen to live under a light, like actually outside of the building, that my side is next to a parking lot and there's a light right over my window. And blinds just aren't gonna cut it. Like I needed blackout curtains. Next, have an emergency food stash. So I'm in a dorm, I don't have a kitchen, and I also have a meal plan that comes with my scholarship. But there are some times when the cafeteria is going to be closed or when you're just extra hungry or you're going to go out, and sometimes you just need an emergency stash of snacks. And then finally, a water filter. Like I said, there's no kitchen here, there's only the tap water, and it tastes like garbage. So having a water filter can be really nice because sometimes you don't want to spend money on an overpriced water bottle. My next tip is review your notes until the last minute. You will not regret this. I've had several times where I've been reviewing my notes right before a test, and then something comes up that was in my notes, and I would have totally forgotten it had I not been reviewing it so intensely right before the test. So even if you only have 15 minutes until you take a test or exam, just go through your binder and read stuff. My next tip is to actually get a binder. So binders are wonderful compared to notebooks because you can customize them. You can take out paper, you can add paper, you can divide sections how you want them to, and put as many sections in as you want, and this is not as easy with the notebook. In addition, if you have one notebook for class, sometimes you'll have multiple classes in a day, and then your backpack's going to get really heavy, and honestly, that just doesn't make sense. So just have this. If it gets too full, you can take paper out and you can store it somewhere else. Honestly, I never throw away my notes. I have little folders for each subject, and when my binder gets too full or I have extra things to put in them, they just go in the folders. So as you can see, here's my binder. Here's my master plan for finals week and all the things I had left to do, and now I'm done. So in the front of these, in the front I keep all the syllabi for my class. I printed them out, which is very helpful if you just want to look it up and it helps you keep track of things. And then as you can see by the tabs, I have all my classes here. And then in the back, I have a schedule for all of my classes, It has the course number, the class time, class days. I've already designed one of these for my spring semester, and in my version, it also includes the room number where it is, so for my first day of classes, I know where to go. And then in the back is some of my bigger homework assignments and dates that they were due. And then in the sides, you could put all your little handouts. And then over here, you can put your pens. So having a binder is really helpful just because it's so customizable. Next tip, make time to have fun and socialize. So some people might not need this tip, or they might think, like, if anything, I need to schedule more time to study. I'm the type that will do everything until it gets done, which can be a good thing because I have a lot of focus and determination. But here's the thing, you can always be working on schoolwork. There's always like an extra credit assignment you could be doing, something you could research more. And if you let it, schoolwork can take over everything and you won't have time for anything else. So it's important to have a set time for schoolwork and to do what you intend to do at that time, but then also to intentionally make time to do other things. Next tip is make your health a priority. A lot of people are tired during the day because they don't get enough sleep and that affects their performance. Or some people have terrible immune systems and they get sick a lot. But just taking care of your health in general will really help your quality of life and your performance in college. And this means working out at least every other day, watching what you eat, and getting 8 hours of sleep. Those are the very, very basics. And nutrition-wise, I do log my calories a lot, but even when I'm not logging my calories, I have rules for myself, such as I can't get dessert from the cafeteria, and I can't have soda. And it's these little rules that just help you maintain a healthy lifestyle in college. And also, working out is a great way to socialize, so try and get friends in on that too and be each other's accountability partners, because that's been one of my favorite things that I've done semester is getting to work out with other people. Next, it's okay to drop or swap classes. I waited until on the census date to drop a class I needed to drop. I don't know, I felt like I had to stick with it, but then I was talking to my parents and they're like, hey, just drop the class and pick up another class. That way you have the same amount of credit hours for the semester. And sometimes the professor is going to be a bad professor, or you're just not going to click with that professor. And in that case, just know that it's okay to go ahead and switch classes. You'll be much happier in the long run. My next tip is about tests. Tests usually come in one of 4 forms. It usually involves some sort of writing, a presentation, multiple choice, or maybe some sort of fill-in-the-blank answer if it's like math. So just make sure your communication skills are on par and that you learn how to write and speak well. I've found that learning how to do those things has helped me so much throughout college. Next, review quizzes before tests. So I found that there's kind of a homework hierarchy. First of all, there's homework, then there's quizzes, then there's tests, then there's exams. And a lot of times professors will use questions from homework or quizzes and they'll put them in tests. Like they'll verbatim put the same question word for word. And if you've been reviewing your quizzes and your homework before the test, you're probably going to do really well. Next tip is ask questions. Yeah, you're going to feel annoying at some point just because you'll be emailing your professors and raising your hand in class all the time and seeing your professors during office hours. But ultimately, this is about your success. You have a responsibility to make sure you do well in college, and one of the best ways to do that is just by making a relationship with your professor and asking questions. If you don't get something and you feel like asking a question about it would be stupid, don't worry about it. Again, your responsibility is your success, and everyone else's opinion doesn't matter. But even if it did matter, it's not like they're going to think you're stupid anyway. A lot of people are going to have the same questions as you. I've asked questions in class, and afterwards people have told me, yeah, that question in the homework didn't make sense to me either. So just ask questions. Next, go to SI. So SI stands for Supplementary Instruction. I don't know how common they are in other universities, but they're so helpful. I went to the statistics SI all the time, and I think I missed going twice. It was just phenomenal, and it helped me to relearn the material. And a lot of people make the mistake of going to an SI or to their professor once they're struggling. Why wait that long? Why not do it before you need it? So go to SI, get that extra preparation, and that way you don't have to fail on a test in order to go get help. Next, study groups aren't for studying. Now, there are certain exceptions to this, like sometimes I've helped people with homework, and it's just a one-on-one thing, and usually that's not too bad because we're both studying the same subject and I'm teaching them more about it and helping them with homework. But if it's like a study group with discussions, or if you're studying in a group just to be together of people who don't necessarily study the same subjects, sometimes you're not going to be nearly as productive as you will if you're on your own. So just keep in mind that in a study group, you're sacrificing some of your study time in order to socialize. The next tip is just a productivity tip, and it's to sleep in your workout clothes. Because workout clothes are really comfortable, and that way in the morning before classes, you could go to the gym. At least that's what I like to do. It just makes it easier, and that's one less step in the morning if I'm already in my workout clothes. My next tip is that progress is more important than time where homework is concerned. Before college, I was trying to figure out a good in-class time to out-of-class study ratio. Like some people said it was like 1-2 or 1-3. And really there's no set ratio. It just depends on the class. Some classes will take 3 hours, but for other classes you can finish all of your assignments in class. It just depends on how hard the class is, when the teacher lets you go, things like that. So overall, be more focused on progress than just the sheer amount of time that you study. With that said, I do have pretty much a set time that I start and stop studying every day just for my mental health. But don't worry about a strict study ratio. Like some days you might need to work less than you do other days. Some days you'll have to work more. It's just about getting done what's due that week. And also being prepared for the weeks to come. Next, have study breaks. Like I said, I only work for a set amount of time, which is about 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. During finals week, really the only thing that was different was I worked 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. But also have study breaks in between your study times. Like after an hour, just get up and go get a drink, and then get right back into it and start studying again. This makes studying time easier, and you can kind of give yourself a reward for studying for a certain amount of time. My next tip is offer homework help. As I mentioned before, sometimes I offer homework help to people, especially in subjects like English or statistics. And while this might seem like a really good thing of me to do and purely altruistic, it's not. Because when I have to teach someone, then I'm forced to relearn the material, and sometimes I find that I've forgotten quite a bit. So help other people because 1, yes, you're helping other people, but 2, you're also helping yourself. And finally, college is what you make it. College isn't going to magically give you a job or help you mature and grow up and be responsible. And with that said, it's not going to make you into a crazy party person who goes out and drinks and sleeps. It won't make you into anything that you don't want it to make you into, which probably doesn't make a lot of sense. But like I said in an earlier video, before I left for college, there were some people that were telling me that I'd just go crazy, and that I'd party, and that I'd need to hide my beer from the RA. And honestly, college is what you make it. If you're determined to keep the routines and habits you had before college, you'll keep them. Or in fact, you'll do better. Like I was worried I wouldn't find time to exercise in college, but because that's important to me, I've made time for it. And now I exercise more than I ever did back at home. I was worried I might stop keeping track of my nutrition, but I still log my calories and I'm really careful about that. I thought I might stray away from my faith because there are biased professors and biased textbooks. But in reality, I know what I believe, and I know why I believe what I believe, and just because someone else has a different opinion, and just because the majority of people have a different opinion, doesn't mean I'm going to change. Most people here don't believe in what I believe religiously or politically. And that's okay. College is a wonderful time to learn more about other people's opinions in the world around you, and to learn more about why others believe why they believe. And it's a time just to understand others and to better empathize with them. Honestly, that's the biggest thing I've learned collectively from all of my classes, is just understanding people, understanding the other side that you disagree with, and not necessarily having to agree with an opposing viewpoint, but just understanding it and empathizing with it. So yeah, if for you college is all about, oh, I'm going to get life experience and I'm going to go out drinking every night and I'm going to have sex, if that's what you want your college experience to be, you can do that. If you want it to be all about studying and a 4.0 GPA, you can do that too. But just keep in mind that college is 4 years. You have a lifetime after that. And you could spend these 4 years getting really, really good at something and developing yourself, or you can trash it. And by trash it, I don't just mean going out and drinking and partying. You might spend the whole time just staying in your dorm and studying and not developing other skills and not developing yourself as a person. So what I've done is I've looked at my long-term career goals, like how I want to be an author and how I want to be a motivational speaker. And I've thought, how can I pursue those goals while I'm in college? Because those are fundamental, important parts of my education. Just think of what you want to do after college and use your time in college to better pursue that. Well, those are most of my tips I have for my freshman semester. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you like videos like these, because I post one video a week. Sometimes it's about writing or books or college. It just depends, really. And in the comments, I'd like you to know how your college semester went, if you're in college, and some of your best tips. Let me know down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!